Hi, this is Dr. Jabali, and in this video we're going to focus on topic 9.2, looking at past IB exam papers, where we are going to focus on paper 1, which is mostly multiple choice related to the topic of 9.2, which is mostly about phloem. So always remember to read the question at least 2 to 3 times and make sure you look at A, B, C, D, because sometimes you never know, C and D might be very close, and by one word it makes a difference. So here it says, which letter identifies phloem? One of the requirements is that you know the micrographs of xylem phloem very well, as well as the structure of xylem phloem. I see a lot of questions come about this. So right here, whenever you see these circles around here, this is where you're going to find the xylem and the phloem. And usually the phloem will always be on the top while the xylem will be in the middle. So in this case, the answer is B. Next, in plants, what is or are specially adapted to transport sucrose? When I say transport sucrose, I'm talking about translocation. And when we talk about translocation, this is actually happening in the phloem. So the only thing and the only place that you can see a tissue happening is in the phloem. So the only one that works with this is D. Next, which micrograph shows the cross-section of the vascular tissue of dicotyledon's root? Which letter identifies the phloem sieve tubes? So you see that circle again that I just mentioned, and in the middle usually is the xylem, and then on the outside here we got the phloem. So for sure the answer will be C. Next, the image here shows a part of the section through the stem of non-woody plants. Okay, now we have here 2 and 1, and if you notice here, you should know very well the structure of the xylem and the phloem. So you can see here is most of the xylem, and you can see that this has to do with the phloem. And these guys, if you notice, these are the companion cells, while here you actually have the sieve tube. And here you can see the tracheids as well as the vessel elements of the xylem. So I know this because I've seen so many times a picture of the xylem phloem. You have to go through the micrographs. Don't skip them because they show up a lot. So the question says, which feature distinguishes the transport materials in tissue labeled 1 from that is tissue labeled 2? So we already said that 2 is the xylem, and we already said the tissue 1 is the phloem. Next thing we have to do is look at their features that distinguish. That means what's the difference? What is about it that makes them different? So A says in 2, which is xylem, active transport occurred. No, there's no active transport in xylem. In 2, products of photosynthesis are transported. Product photosynthesis are sugar, and sugar is not transported in xylem. It's only water, so it's not this one. In 1, movement of materials is a result of transpiration. Transpiration, that happens in the xylem, so this is not it. So I already know it's D without having to look at it, but making sure in 1, there is a high solute concentration. It makes sense. The solute here is the sugar, which is found, the high concentration is usually found in the phloem. That's why the xylem sends through osmosis to there. So the answer is D. Now, what could be used in technique for measuring the flow rates in phloem? That's one of the applications. And if you remember, it was about using the stem here and using an FF stylet that comes with his nose and basically pokes at different sections of the stem, and then from the distance and the hour, you can find how fast it goes. So where's the first one says potometer. Potometer, this is for transpiration. It has nothing to do with the flow rates of phloem, because the rates of phloem is translocation. It's not transpiration. So potometer is not it. Amphistylets, that is true. And then what they do, they wait for that radioactive carbon dioxide, which is definitely this one, moving here, and this is how you catch them by being highlighted. So it's 2 and 3, so the answer is D. Next, in the micrograph, see what I'm talking about? It hits a lot, and this is me going back in many past IB exams. They do this. So the micrograph of plant stem, which letter indicates the xylem? So here's the xylem, just to show you how much micrographs comes on these two. Now, just to be clear again, remember that you are going to have more on the inside, the xylem, and you're going to have more the phloem on the outside, right? So here is asking for you to figure out which one is not. But here, be careful with the trick. You have to find them and look very carefully in where the xylem and the phloem is located. Because if you do a mistake, you might get it wrong. So just to show you here, right? You see how here the picture is completely different. It shows a zoom in, or this one right here, you can see it's more to the side, but it also has more options like you see here and then here, right? So you can see that there is a difference between them as we go along. And I just wanted to look it clear here for you to show it, how you can see here. This is more zoom in, right? So with that, what are we going to see here is that, okay, let me continue going back to where it was, is they're looking for that. So it don't see a circle. If you notice, this is more like it, right? And this is more like it. So these are the more things they can see. And one of this that can be actually the xylem. In this case, the xylem will look to be more, in this case, C. So because, again, these circles that come out here. Now, this is where students might make the mistake and think it's D because it's in the middle. That's not. And like, again, I'm going to show you one more time. Look at this. And look at these ones. See, this one you cannot see because it's very zoom in. But you can see that there is many options. This part here, this area I want to show you. Look how white it is, this area, right? Now, look at this one right here. You see how this white area, and this is not the xylem. That's why you got to be very careful when many students think that D is the xylem. This is the biggest mistake that they do. So with that, the answer is C. Now here we have another one. Shows a partisection through the stem of nudie plants. Where does the transport sucrose occur? So first we know transport sucrose happens in the phloem. So we got to look for the phloem in here. Again, you see these pictures. It's a little bit of changing. So which one would it be? Obviously, it's not B. It cannot be for it. And C is not in these circles going on here, right? So it would not be C also. So it's between A and B. And if you know, the A is where the white one's more, so it's xylem, and D is more of the phloem. So the answer is D. Where does the translocation of sugar occurs in plant cells? Once again. And you can see here that it's not on the A and it's not on the D because it's inside, and C, it's the X, on the outside is a P. So the answer is B. And that's pretty much it for this topic on 9.2. So look back over the micrographs, know about translocation and FFI styles. These are the three most common questions that comes from 9.2. Thank you.